series. Can you believe that? And we have a special guest today, special guest star, Ethan Bill. Everybody, Ethan Bill, yeah.
Woo!
I must say, we're going to get into Ethan and all the history. But first, let us say that we are here in Beit Shemesh, Israel. At least I'm here in Beit Shemesh, Israel, at the Four Corners Project Studio at www.fourcornersproject.org. And we are going to be, as it is every Tuesday night, we interview a band member or a former band member. Today, we're not only interviewing a band member, we're interviewing a video producer, engineer, and a musician that's played basically on the last 3 or 4 schlock rock albums. We're going to talk about the parody albums and even some original albums, right?
Yeah, since Boulevard was my first record.
That's right, Rejuvenated in the year 2006. We'll get there. First, let's welcome Ethan Bill. Ethan, how you doing?
Woo! I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, first thing is, let's set the stage. Going back to 1987, 1990, 1991. Now, you, Ethan, are young. You're a young guy, and this is your father, Steve, was and is the original schlock rock producer, going back to 1987 when he did Purim Torah. Now, you were a little baby at that point, but I remember my first memory of you was that I think it was around 91 where you were playing trumpet, right?
Yeah.
You were taking trumpet lessons. I think you were 5 years old. You were 5 to 7 years old. I don't know, what it was, but that was the first time that I remember. And you were in the studio all the time. You would be in the studio all the time, coming down to listen to the music. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Which schlock rock album do you remember from when you were a kid?
I was thinking about this. The recording my father did for Am Yisrael Chai.
So that's Lenny and the Schlockers. That's 1990. Yeah.
Now, I don't remember if that's the first thing I heard when I was a kid, but I loved the sound he got on it.
Really?
Yeah, I think he knocked that one out of the park.
I think that was who's the drummer on that? I think it was Barry Lazarowitz played drums on Lenny and the Schlockers.
I don't know.
I'm almost sure.
It sounds Rick Cutler-ish, but it could not be him.
No, Rick never came in, never performed. Rick played on Kesher, on the early schlock rock. Because let's just tell the fans, schlock rock, before schlock rock, there was Kesher, which was my Hebrew Hasidic band. That Steve was in the rhythm section. He played guitar, Rick Cutler on drums, Harry Max on bass, and Yaron Gershovsky on piano. And that was the main Jewish rhythm section for over, I don't know how many hundreds of albums, but hundreds of albums Steve played on. Now, that's how I met Steve, because he arranged Kesher 2 and Kesher 3. So after Kesher 2, I go to Steve and I say, Steve, I put out Schlock Rock 1, Learning is Good. I want to do a second one. Can you do it? And if Steve said yes, and Purim Torah was born. Now, Purim Torah had on it Achashverosh, 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 but I don't think you remember that, because I think you were a baby.
I don't think I do, no.
So
what year was that?
87. And then 88 was To Unite All Jews, right? With My Menorah.
Mm-hmm.
So 1990 was Lenny and the Schlockers, had Am Yisrael Chai on. And 91, We've Got a Strong Desire. And 92, We're Coming Back. Here's a story I'd like to tell, right? So, and then, of course, 93 was Bring Back That Shabbos Feeling, right? So that was, and Steve did all of those.
I know.
And he also did the Kosher Police,
right?
Which was also in 92.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you come onto the scene. The first time you're in a studio setting with me that you're actually on an album was 2006, right? Which is,
that makes sense. Yeah,
Rejuvenated,
yeah.
And you wrote the song Choices. Which you played, I believe you played most of the guitars on that album. Steve just did the Rejuvenated leads, right? I think you played most of the guitars on the Rejuvenated album. with the parodies, with Boulevard of Broken Dreams, although maybe not. Maybe
It
not.
wasn't until later albums that I did all the instrumentation.
Because if I have the credits, let me just show the audience the cover. Let me see, Rejuvenated. Here's Rejuvenated
Mhm.
up there, and in the credits it says you and Steve played the guitars.
Right.
And then the next year we put out Greatest Hits Volume 2, GH2, and you did the bonus track Baba Sali, which is Danny California from the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Right.
and Work to Live, which was Walk of Life from Dire Straits.
Right.
I love that song. But the truth is, I love both of those songs. They were great songs, and those were the bonus tracks. You played a lot of those, and you were also the engineer on those tracks as well.
Yeah.
So you
And
were
remastered.
you were starting to get into okay, so let's start with your instrumentation. Now I remember you as a trumpet player, but of course you play on the you have a YouTube video where you're playing all the instruments on a Steely Dan cover,
Right.
right? What's it called? Don't Take Me Alive,
Don't
or
Take Me Alive.
right, where you're playing bass, you're playing lead guitar, you're playing drums, and you're playing piano. So let's start with, when did you switch from trumpet to guitar, bass, drums, and piano?
Yeah. So I wasn't taking trumpet lessons. Is my mom's dad is my mom comes from the musical family, not my father. My father comes from a bicycle family. So it's my mom's dad who was like the teacher at Juilliard, and
He was a
stuck the
conductor. He was a conductor, right?
Yeah,
Also.
he stuck the trumpet to my face like when I was 2, and it was my 3rd birthday that I wanted a drum set, and that's when my grandfather got upset that he thought I liked the drums more than the trumpet. Right?
Yeah.
So I played both. I played drums more. I practiced the drums more. That made him upset, but. I had an acoustic guitar. My dad would come into my bedroom and show me Stairway to Heaven.
Right.
You know, when I was like 7 or 8. But that was it. He never gave me like a guitar lesson.
So how did you pick up the guitar? Because you play the guitar fantastic. How did you...
I'm not like a technical player, but like I play it tight. You know, I play it the way I would like other people to record it, which is like right on top.
Right.
So if I would have to learn it and practice it, and then I could play it. But you know, it's not like my father where he just anything.
No, your dad is a virtuoso guitar player.
You know, theoretically anything. He just mastered music.
Right. Yes, he did. And of course he went to law school, which he told me about.
Yeah.
And then after law school, he never actually, I don't think he took the bar. I think he just went straight to music. From law school, he went straight to music.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did take the bar, though. But I don't know.
You know what? We'll have to ask him. We'll have to have him on in a month or two.
Well, he's here on, because he still teaches.
Right, he's still teaching. So we right now he's in conflict with this 3:30 p.m. Tuesday show, but I'm sure we'll have some time that we can get him on.
No,
we're going to have, by the way, next week we're having the Kraz. The Kraz is going to be the guest star.
I never met him.
Oh, the Kraz is amazing.
But we talk about him a lot.
Yes, because he was the shtick writer. Okay, so we've spoken about a little bit about your musical background, and you were on, you did Rejuvenated, you did Greatest Hits Volume 2. Now let's talk about No Limits. No Limits you engineered, 2009. The album No Limits, which I wrote in 17 days, and then we recorded it in 4.
Right.
Oh no, I think I wrote it in 4 days and we recorded it in 2 weeks. That's what we did.
Right.
It was such an amazing experience, and it set us up for Daniel in Babylon, which you engineered as well.
That was the next thing?
Well, from 2010, yes, 2012, 2013 actually. It was Hurricane Sandy delayed us recording, Daniel in Babylon, and we ended up recording it in November of 2012, and then we released it in January of 2013. It was, my Kickstarter. I had to get it all to my Kickstarter sponsors. But you were the engineer on that.
No
And
Limits. We go back to No Limits.
but let's go
You know
back
what
to
I'm
No
talking about.
Limits. No Limits. So No Limits was a intense spiritual musical experience for me because I wrote 12 songs in 4 days. That's what I did. 12 songs in 4 days because I wasn't planning on recording anything that summer. It was August. And I hadn't written anything. And I said, all of a sudden, the heavens opened up. These songs come down. And I call up Steve and I said, Steve, I got a couple of days open. And, all right, I got 5 days open in August. I said, I just wrote 12 songs in 4 days. Can we record an album in 5 days? And he
Well,
said,
we
yes,
did the
we
whole
can.
album, the rhythm section, in 2 days.
We did the rhythm section in 2 days, and
Two.
the rest of the album in 3. And then you mixed it, and then you mixed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You engineer,
That was an incredible experience. I mean, when he first came with the songs, I felt a connection to them.
right?
I thought they were so well written.
Yes,
But those are the best. Those are the best well-written songs when it comes with instinct, right?
Yes, you don't try; it just comes down.
Just comes. Yeah.
It just comes down. Those are the best. It's true. And Daniel was the same. Daniel, when in 2 years after that, when I wrote Daniel in 6 to 8 weeks, it was like an 8-week experience where I wrote 26 songs, and then I remember playing it for Steve, and also Steve said, "You wrote this," and my mother said, "This came out of you."
Right.
My
Same
mother said, "This
band.
came out of you, Daniel in Babylon." I said, "Yeah, it came out of me."
Same
that was
band on both albums.
Yeah, same band. I'm the greatest bass player that I ever worked with.
One of the greatest people I've ever met. Yeah.
In a studio. Unfortunately, he's not alive anymore.
No.
Dave Keys. But I will tell you. Oh, is that? What is that? Oh, there's Daniel in Babylon. Look at that. Oh, you're one upping me. I figured. Oh, I'm gonna have pictures. I can show the GH2. And here's No Limits, and you come up with this.
I have on the wall all the albums I'm proud of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a
So
big
that's
one.
unbelievable. Now, it's really so you by the way, I also took some notes on when you started playing drums on the road with us.
Right. When was that?
The first time was in 2014, in December 2014, you started playing, drums on the road with us.
But I filled in a couple times before that.
You probably did.
Kutcher's. Judy knows what year Kutcher's was. She's probably watching.
Kutcher's was the first show. Was that the first show you played with me?
The first tour I played with you, because I did a couple that time. We did
camps. Was that doing camps?
We were doing camps, and then it was like the last year Kutcher's was even open. I don't know.
Yeah. This January, Schlock Rock turns 34. 34 years old. I mean, whoever would have thought about that? That's crazy. I never thought this would be anything more than a one album. I thought it would be a one. Oh, Judy's saying 8 years ago. Judy just wrote, August. So that would be August 2012. So she's got you playing with me in August 2012.
Right.
Kutcher's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Kutcher's was great. All those hotels were fantastic. My favorite youth experiences were going to Grossinger's. I loved Grossinger's. Now, of course, there's no Grossinger's. But
no, there's no nothing.
I know.
Concord's a Indian casino.
I've never been. I've never been to any of those casinos because my whole career is a gamble. So what's the point? What's the point?
You and me both.
Schlock Rock is a gamble. It's like, you're making a living from this? That was the number one question.
Yeah.
People would always ask me, you make a living from this?
I get that too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, people don't believe musicians can make a living.
I know. It's a funny thing.
But you did. And more.
I did, and we hope that we're going to still keep going as soon as
We're still going.
As soon as this COVID thing is over.
Well,
I actually, just to let you know, I just got a call for a gig potentially in February. So in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. So let's see if I can even come in. This is the longest I have not been in in America since February. Since so it's already we're heading to. It's actually 9 straight months that I have not been in America, which is crazy because I used to travel every 6 to 8 weeks for a 2 week period. We would
Yeah.
tour every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. Well, thankfully,
Yeah.
it's not slowing down because of your business. It's slowing down because of a pandemic.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean,
don't take it the
there's
wrong way.
really no musical work except for doing Lenny Solomon live.
Which is great. I really enjoyed it. I'm really
Yeah,
happy to be here
it's
that you
been
let me
fun, and
on.
I'm starting. I enjoy the camera. Like I started off, I would do 3 to 5 minutes, 6 to 8 minutes. Now every show is around 15 to 20 minutes, and I don't know how I do it. And it just goes 20
You're
minutes.
in a
So,
stride.
we've already done 16 minutes, and
Wow.
it just flies. The time flies. All right, we got to talk a little bit about the videos because the people don't know. What the people don't know is that you were the video producer for a lot of things. First thing is, let's talk about the webisode, the Lenny Solomon webisode called the Lenny Solomon Show, which we did 14 episodes. We would release one a month, and we did it in your old studio. Now you're in a new studio, right?
Right.
Tell everybody where it is in New Jersey, unless you don't want to give the location.
Dumont.
Dumont, New Jersey. It's only, I'm going to
A
say,
mile.
what is it, 11 minutes from the GW?
Oh,
11
from the
minutes?
GW? Yeah, it's like 20 minutes.
Oh, it's 20 minutes. So it's a 20-minute
So,
trip because you got to get on the Palisades. You got to get on the Palisades?
right.
Just like, right. So you got to go, it's 20 minutes over the GW bridge. For those of you that want to do studio work, we're looking at Ethan's studio right now.
Part of
And
it, you know.
or part of the studio. The control room. I presume you're sitting in the control room.
I am, yeah.
Right. So anyway, so we did that Lenny Solomon show, which is all available on YouTube and at the Four Corners Project channel. That's available. You could go watch it now, anytime. Which was really, really fun. And also, it made it, you gave it a very nice, like a basement, a dark, cool with the bricks in the background. With it was very, very cool.
Green screen.
Yes, the green screen. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And then of course you did 3 other videos with me. Let me just see. Yes, 3 other videos with me. First, you did Trust in God. That was the first video that you produced.
Yeah, we filmed it on the road.
We filmed it on the road. I went to L.A. L.A. I did a little bit in L.A. Remember when
Right.
when I got the sign on me and yeah.
Right.
And then we also filmed it in West Hartford, Connecticut. When we drove to West Hartford, it was freezing. It was December.
Oh, we were towards Buffalo by then.
Yes, we were towards Buffalo, Rochester, right?
Yeah, Rochester, Buffalo. And yeah. And we would just film as much as we could during the shows. We would play that song just so that we could film for the video.
So we get some footage. But
Yeah,
also
I don't know if people wanted to hear the song at the show, but we needed it.
Well, they didn't know the song so much. See, the thing is that, as you know, when we go on the road, what do people want to hear? They want to hear Minion Man. They want to hear Achashverosh. They want to hear We've Got a Strong Desire, Yo Yo Yamaka, Rashi, My Menorah, Every Bite You Take, and so on and so forth. The hit. They want to hear the hits going back to 1995, from 86 to 95. So anything that we throw in past 1995, we have a couple of big hits after that too. But
Kosher Cake.
Kosher Cake, Prayer Jumping, I sit right down, say Kriyat Shema. Then I get up and do the Amidah. So we have big hits there. But really, so when we threw in Trust in God is so apropos right now. It's so appropriate because and Judy writes she was in the video. Yes, she is the weather, the anchor person on the news.
Yeah, and in the middle too, where she talks on the phone.
That's right. That's right. But the thing is that we're living in this time right now where nobody knows what's going on. The world is in an uproar. America is in an uproar. America's in an uproar between the election and between COVID. And so, the gloom and doom predictions could be pretty high. And
Interesting.
And that's why the song "Trust in God." You have to put your trust in God, not your trust in man. And that's what it says in Jeremiah 17:5 through 17:7. In 17:7, Jeremiah says, "Blessed is the man who has faith in God, and God is his faith. Baruch hagever asher yiftach b'Hashem, v'haya Hashem miftacho." Right? That's you have to put your trust in God, not your trust in man.
But how did you originally write the lyric?
How did I write the lyric?
I know how you did it.
Tell me how I wrote it.
Mashiach websites.
Oh, that's right, because I kept getting burned. Because the truth of the matter is that every song that I write has got something about me that I had an issue with or I have to talk about because it affected me. And so this was no exception. So the trust in God, I keep getting burned because not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. I still follow it, though. I'm still looking for that.
This is why he wrote the song, not to do that.
I know. I know. That's why he wrote the song. My rabbis always say to me, Lenny, when somebody comes at you with a prediction, run the other way. Run the other way. But it's hard to do. Sometimes, and believe it or not, it's like it's an attraction thing because I actually got a call today from somebody who says he's the Messiah. I'm not saying names, but he says he's the Mashiach. So, but we're not going to talk about that. But I get calls. It's an attraction. You know the rule of the universe. You're attracting things. So I guess it's a test. Abraham had to go through tests. Lenny has to go through tests. Ethan has to go through tests.
Yeah,
and everybody has to go through tests. All right, so. Second video we're going to talk about. We have 3 videos to talk about. Second video, shake hands with your Uncle Max.
Right.
You remember that video? Now that video we shot at Valerie and Eitan Sultan's house. We also shot it at the JCC at the Sephardic Community Center in Brooklyn. You remember we spent the day in Brooklyn?
Yeah, they were trying to let us in. Or we were trying to get them to let us in.
Right, in the beginning.
Because tough security.
Yeah, it was tough security. Now I'm sure it would be impossible to get.
Terrible. Yeah, they wouldn't listen.
No way. But we played there every summer, so we figured it's not a big deal. But it took a little time. We finally got in. We did a little bit of shooting. Then we went on to a restaurant in Brooklyn where we took some footage. And then after that, we drove. Where did we drive to? We drove to Jersey, to Teaneck.
Ocean Parkway.
Or was that the second day? I think it took us 2 days to shoot this thing.
Maybe.
It took us 2 days to shoot. But Shake Hands with Your Uncle Max was an Alan Sherman song. One of my favorites. That's just a great song. And it was the second Alan Sherman song cover that I did. The other one was Seltzer Boy. And then, of course, we have a parody of Hello Moel, Hello Kvater, Hello Mudda, Hello Fada. But when I'm talking too much. So now we're going to get to the greatest video that we've ever done. That I've ever done, I think, Transnistria.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Transnistria was a very hard one, and a hard story to tell. A Holocaust. Can you imagine doing a Holocaust video?
It's a really good concept.
Yeah, and again, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's about a concentration camp. It's not the popular one. Nobody really knows.
Nobody knows about it. It's true.
It's crazy. It's a great concept.
And the reason I know about it is because my grandmother lost her entire family there. And that's how I wrote the song. Everything is personal. And that's the way it is with all the artists. If you follow Phil Collins, if you follow Sting, their greatest songs came out of angst, out of depression, out of anger, right? And it was always stuff that was going on in their personal life that came out into songs. Transnistria was something I always wanted to write about because... nobody knows about it. 400,000 Jews died from Romania, and nobody knows about it. And you did a fantastic job filming Transnistria with the lighting, with the whole concept. It was amazing.
Oh, it was a team effort. Thank you.
All right, now we got 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left. Can you believe that? Here's what I want to do. I want you to talk about. I went to a Ranger game. And guess who sang the national anthem? Ethan sang the national anthem.
With 5 other guys.
Yes, it was part of your group. So one of the group that you were playing with at the time.
Right.
So one of the other things that you've done besides Schlock Rock is you've gone on the road. You've been on the road with a number of bands, correct?
Two, yeah.
Two. One of them was like a was what like
Underground rock band.
ah an underground rock band, and that was a very difficult experience for you.
Very difficult.
You know, because they didn't really give you great accommodations.
There was no money.
There was no money.
There was no money.
You
You
believe,
know,
and that's how making it as a musician is such a difficult thing to do.
yeah, you just take a risk. And if you ever want to make it in that underground music business, it was like you had to take the risk and go see if you can get a following in the country or even outside of the country for anybody to take any recognition. So,
Wow.
but it was rough. It was rough. And I'd say never go on the road ever again. And then I did.
Yes, you did with a group called the Wanderers,
The
right?
Bronx Wanderers, yeah.
Bronx Wanderers, and what were they?
They were an oldies tribute band, like based on a Bronx Tale kind of like musical kind of show.
But what was amazing about it was you ended up playing a lot of Jewish old age residences in Florida, right? You would go and you would do the whole circuit of I don't want to say old age. It's senior.
It's Century Village. Yeah.
Yeah.
Century
I mean,
Village.
it's unbelievable, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You see these big theaters. I didn't know there was this many old Jews around here.
So and you played Vegas too. You played a lot of stuff in Vegas with them. In other words, there the accommodations were much better. The money was much better. The you got treated better, theoretically.
It was a good gig. It's like I realize it now that I don't have it more than at the time when I was like not enjoying it, and now I'm thinking like, why didn't I enjoy it? Like, you know, they put me up on the beach for a whole winter.
Right.
You know, what? Why didn't I enjoy this?
No, I know. And you were on the golf course. You would go on the golf course, right?
I played golf every day in Florida.
So here's the funny thing. Here, I'm in the studio with you, and we're doing a gig. I don't know. I was doing not a gig. We were doing an album. I don't remember which one. And it might have been New Shul. It might have been, because we didn't even talk about New Shul. I forgot about New Shul, which was the last parody album that we did. But you said to me, oh, you know, I'm going to be at Madison Square Garden singing the national anthem with my group, the Bronx Wanderers. Do you want to come? I got a free ticket. I'm not interested in hockey. I said, I'm there. And so he gives me the ticket. I end up I wonder where are the seats? I take the elevator up to the 11th floor in the suites. And I'm in the suites and I'm watching the whole game from the suites, but before that, I watched you sing the national anthem, and
they had no kosher food, though. I heard.
No, well, I had to go down to the kosher food stand to get kosher food. It wasn't like, well, I was the only, Orthodox Jew in that suite. The rest of it were your band members, some of your band members, and I guess one of them, the sax player, I think.
Yeah.
He came up to watch the rest of the game. But that was a great experience. I don't know if you found it great singing the national anthem.
It was a lot of schlep, that gig.
Right. And
it was a lot of schlep.
Really, you do it for promotion.
The thing is, I mean, people would die for that opportunity. But when you're in the moment and you're schlepping, it's hard to really see it from the outside. Like, this is such a great thing, you know?
Right.
You only realize it later. You take the moment for granted.
So as we come to the end of our 30 minutes, I want to do you have any words of wisdom that you want to pass on, the impact that Schlock Rock has made on you, or just in general to anybody out there that might want to be a musician?
Right. Well, Schlock Rock is half my Jewish education. You know?
It's unbelievable.
Well, you too. It's not just the lyrics, but the time we would spend together, we would talk about it. Right? And then for music now, it's constantly changing. and you just got to keep up. And I'm really proud of that you put this whole thing together. It's a lot of work and a lot
Yeah,
of
the
technical
studio.
learning, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm so this is so great.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, because if you can't go to the fans, you
Hmm.
can't go to where the fans are. You've got to. I don't know how to finish that sentence, but you've got to somehow make yourself accessible so that they can come and see you. And we've been going 3 times a week. I do Thursday night is going to be our next show. It's a musical show,
Hmm.
and every Tuesday night we do interviews. And the interviews have been really successful with people commenting, and it's getting more viewers than the musical shows, which is very interesting.
Well, I
But
hope
that,
I can help you out.
yeah, well, it's my pleasure to have you, Ethan, and to just to Ethan. If you guys want to, record a song, get in touch with us. I will put you in touch with Ethan. Or should I give? Am I allowed to give out your email on?
Yeah,
It's
find me on
easy.
Instagram.
Ethan Bill.
Yeah, Ethan
Ethan
Bill
Bill on
Productions.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Ethan Bill Productions.
yeah,
All right, on Instagram, Ethan Bill Productions. If Instagram is up, which of course it
it's
is, I
down.
think it's down. All
I
right.
think so. It's been down all day. I was trying to
What about a
promote.
Twitter? Are you on Twitter at Ethan Bill?
Yeah, but I don't really go on it.
Right. So I have 4 Twitter accounts: at Lenny Solomon, at Four Corners Project,
Right,
at Schlock Rock, and at Daniel in Babylon. But
right.
I don't know why I have 4 accounts. What do I need 4 accounts for? I don't really need
Because
4
all
accounts.
those are working
They're all different
organizations.
things. Yeah, they're all different things.
Yeah, you need those.
Yeah,
It's a lot. You gotta do the extra work.
you
A
do.
lot to
And
keep
I
up
don't.
with.
All right, and I don't do enough. What's the word? I don't do enough marketing, but we'll get there, ladies and gentlemen. We will get there. In the meantime, from the Four Corners Project studio here in Beit Shemesh, Israel, and in New Jersey with Ethan
Yep.
Bill, we want to say to everybody, have a great day. We'll see you Thursday night with another episode of Lenny Solomon Live. This has been the 50th show of Lenny Solomon Live. All right.
Yeah.
Signing off.
All right.
See you